Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dark side of the murder van. It's just the bottom side. Once we got the doghouse on, we were doing a little test drive. It was fun to cruise in, but there was like a growling noise coming from back here, which is never good.
That's not good.
It sat for 4 or 5 years, and it took us 4 or 5 days to do a complete motor swap on this thing. So we're running and driving, but running and driving revealed potentially a new problem. The rear ends seemed to be making noise. Now, first of all, rear ends all make noise, but this seemed to be more of a growl. And I have replaced the carrier bearing on the drive shaft because it's a 2-piece drive shaft. But if the bearings are growling in the rear end, well, then we need to figure out a plan and we need to fix that, because now that we've gotten it roadworthy, I want to get it road trip worthy. Road trip! Long distance, lots of miles, lots of different speeds, including serious highway speed. Once again, I mean, that's what I bought it for. I drove it cross country. I want it to be that kind of a thing. And fall is coming up way faster than expected, and that is a great time for road trips. All right, it's been a few days since I fired it up. Probably wants a pump of gas. Just gotta get in the thing. Yep, 1 pump of gas. Hello. The dog would like to go for a ride, please. Is that better? That more satisfactory for dog? All right. Gotta get some of my breakdancing cardboard ready, because I'll tell you what, I'll take breakdancing cardboard over a creeper any day of the week. How'd we do? Looking pretty good. In my brain pan, I thought this told me that it had a 308 posi. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know where I came up with 308. I don't know where I came up with posi, actually. It's weird. How did I come up with that? Does anybody know? I just make it up? Dog's here. So the point right now is I heard what I believe to be just a noise coming from the rear end. It was more of a growl, not a whine. It's my understanding, but I'm not an expert on this, that a whine would indicate ring and pinion, pow, and a growl would indicate bearings, potentially wheel bearings, front or rear, honestly, or my nightmare pinion bearing. That's what I hope it is not, but we're gonna have to go on that side and jiggle the pinion. But let's spin the wheels and just listen for anything. If we can't find anything, we'll jiggle everything, and then once all of that's done, we will... What are you doing, dog? No, don't eat that. It's a zip tie. What is it? Well, we'll figure out what we're gonna do after that. Probably run it on these jack stands. So let's give the wheels a spin. It's like Wheel of Fortune. Like literally, what is our fortune? Are we gonna get lucky or not? This sounds okay for now, which is good and bad. This axle bearing would be a lot easier than the pinion bearing. All right, let's dive into the thing I'm most afraid of first, which is this pinion bearing, which should have no movement. It's actually... I can't move it up and down. I can't move it side to side. That's fantastic news, everyone. You know Futurama's back? That show is so good. I can't even tell you the relief I'm feeling right now. I'm not really sure, but I don't feel like I have any axle bearing noise, which I thought I did. Let's fire it up and see if we can hear that noise. I'm gonna put it in park. Should probably sit in it. In case everything just goes wrong, then I can mash the brakes instead of getting run over. That was weird. Fought back a little bit, like the timing was advanced more than it ought to be. We'll let that ride. Let's put it safe to say that it is not a positive traction rear end. Is that brake noise? Tire noise? I mean, wouldn't that be nice? God, I'm really sketched out about putting my head under it while it's running to see if I can hear this carrier bearing. No, that's basically silent. I mean, you can hear it in here. Yeah, I don't know. It's so much louder in here than it is outside. What does that say? Does it say anything? I don't know. We have a long stethoscope. I mean, it's nothing crazy sounding, so yeah, I checked the gear oil off camera and it had plenty of gear oil in it too, so that is a little woggly. I don't know. Let's shut her down, pull the wheels off, pull the drums off, see what we got going on in there. It just got crazier sounding when I shut it off and this other wheel started to spin. I wonder if that really is just crappy, very old, dry rotted Wrangler all-terrain tires. Like, it could just be tire noise. All right, gang, we have what appears to be an axle seal leak, but not nearly as bad as I thought it was. Maybe the other side's the one that was bad. I mean, there's a little grease in there, but not much. The brakes are significantly out of adjustment. Looks okay. Part of me saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it as far as the brakes go. The axle seal, I'm on the fence. I mean, I don't know. It needs to be done, obviously, but that's a matter of pulling the axles out and doing the whole thing and whatever. So let's check the other side and assess what we really ought to do. It's just behind door number 2. Creatures? All right. This has been home to many a spider, we can tell by seeing all the dead spiders. Also, very out of adjustment. That's just coming right off. I don't know, guys. This one looks pretty good. This wheel cylinder's okay too. So at this point, what we know for sure is the brakes are out of adjustment and we've got a leaky axle seal. And our noise is who knows what. It's just, who knows. Both drums are off. What if we started the car like this? Would that zero it into being just tire noise? Maybe. Let's try it. I mean, I can hear it. Well, it's about the same. I can feel the springs vibrating just a little bit. I mean, maybe it's just vibration. It's interesting, I can feel it in the springs, but they're springs. Can't really feel it here. I mean, maybe I'm chasing a ghost. I'm not really sure. I think the other part of it is I'm trying to get used to the sounds of the van since we moved the exhaust to the side, because it used to let out from underneath it and you just feel the rumble of the exhaust and yeah. I don't know. It's pretty quiet out here, but still, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but we'll try. And it sounds like the world's coming apart in here. It is vibrating just a little bit. Not sure what's going on. There's no great way to lubricate that carrier bearing, but I may try to do it anyway. Your guess is as good as mine, gang. I would love to hear what you think it is in the comments. Guys, I'm really torn right now. It feels like ignorance is bliss at this point, that I should just get some miles on it and figure things out. I understand this axle seal is a problem, but am I opening a bigger problem by busting into this rear end? Don't know. I'm just not. I've done it before. I just don't like doing it. Fighting C-clips and all that stuff. I don't feel like I'm good at it, is what I'm saying. Gang, I stewed on it. I'm gonna leave it alone for now. I don't know, put it in the comments. What would you guys do? At this point, what's informing that decision is this thing is only halfway in there. If I pull it apart and find other stuff, I'm not really in a position to be taking everything out of there, ordering bearings, ordering seals, all that stuff, and hoping for the best, considering it's beautiful outside. It doesn't mean anything. In a few hours, it could be just gnarly. So I think I want to get it back together, get some around town miles on it, start making a punch list, because there's a lot I want to do on it, and I want to get back to this thing and other stuff. So it's on the list, but it's just not bad enough that it'll keep me from, like, you know, continuing to test it all out. Maybe that's bogus. I don't know. The gear ratio thing is indeed boggling my mind. So I've got a clamp on that side on the drum holding it to the backing plate. Got a weight in there that I can see. This mark here, centered-ish. Fine, just do your thing. Please stay. It's 1. 1.5. 2. 3. All right, that worked. I guess the not having the other wheel locked up. So that's pretty darn close to 308. So, which I think they made a 307 and a 308. But yeah, all right, mystery solved. The other thing about not diving into this just quite yet is, while I'm under here, I'm gonna go ahead and measure mounting surface to mounting surface, spring perch to spring perch. This is a 12 bolt. I've found a couple of 80s C10 273 rear ends, which would be a pretty decent reduction in RPM at highway speeds. My little backing plate measurer 3000. All I do is clamp on a flat surface. I can hook a tape measure. That's an 1/8. I just got to get pretty darn close. You know what I'm saying? This thing's huge. 68 wheel mounting surface to wheel mounting surface. 61 backing plate to backing plate. All right, so these are self-adjusting. That's not uncommon at all. This little guy here will knock the star wheel down to tighten the brakes with a certain amount of spring resistance or whatever. I think it's every time you go in reverse and or use the emergency brake. They're just not adjusted great right now. So for some reason, the backing plates on certain GM cars that had self-adjusting brakes didn't have a hole for adjustment. Sometimes I drill a hole if I have the backing plates off, but I'm not gonna bother with that right now. But I'll just adjust the star wheel a little bit myself until we got something like that's real loose. Real loose. Get in here dragging a little bit. Guess we gotta use the emergency brake more if that's what adjusts these. All right, let's go check that center carrier bearing though. I do wish I had a bit of a better clue what was really carrying the vibration into the car, because, you know, I'd like that not to be a thing. And that seems good. Guess I can just grease the U-joints while I'm in here, but there is no spot to grease this thing. So it is what it is. I don't know how many miles this has on it, but it's not all that many. Alright, well, you know, guess that is what it is. Alright gang, we're all greased up except for that U-joint that I can't really get to with my U-joint getter gun because it doesn't fit through the spot. But while I'm under here thinking about it, if you guys know the dimensions of an 80s C10 rear end, mounting surface to mounting surface, backing plate to backing plate, spring mount to spring mount, I mean, I can obviously add spring mounts to anything that needs spring mounts and cut off the old ones. We do the hell out of that around here. We're good at bracketries, kind of, or at least removal of said bracketries. Because it'd be cool to drop this thing down to 273, even if it was switching from a 10 bolt or from a 12 bolt to a 10 bolt. So, and if you guys know anything about this growling noise, let a guy know, because I can feel the vibrations in the springs. So maybe at some point we need to think about brandy new spring bushings, as much as that would stink, if that's what would do it, because I think road noise is a real issue on a road trip, you know? Everybody know what the hell that thing is? Groat. All right, that was a lot of work to not really fix anything. We moved this whole thing, we got it out, we did the whole deal, but it is a nice bit of peace of mind that that sound is not, it's not the rear end actually going full rud, which is, or preparing to go full rud, because we can't really go anywhere legit on these tires. They're so dry rotted and so cracked, it's just not safe. And tires are many expensive, so I'm kind of waiting until a holiday of some kind. Maybe there will be a sale of some kind, and maybe we can get some tires then, because right now I just can't come off the dough for them. But these are good enough to go around town and test out the van.
Stay tuned for more.